For over 1,000 years, the Zarlan Dominion ruled the stars. They believed they were the first and last power in the galaxy. From one edge to the other, they had crushed rebellions, erased species, and burned planets that disobeyed. No one dared challenge their control. Their fleets floated across the stars like gods, silent, massive, deadly. But one day, something strange happened. Inside the Zarlan Deep Space Listening Station, far out in the darkness, a young technician named Vareen sat at his console. He was bored, as always. Nothing ever happened out here. Just empty space. Then, a soft beep broke the silence. Vareen frowned and leaned forward. A signal? He adjusted the frequency and checked the system again. The signal was real. But it was not from any known sector, nor did it follow standard Zarlan communication code. "Commander Relic," Vareen called, trying to stay calm. "You should see this." A tall alien with dark skin and sharp green eyes walked over. He studied the screen for a long moment. His face slowly hardened. "That's impossible," Relic said. The signal was coming from Sector 7-0, also called the Dead Zone. That part of space had been empty for centuries. Nothing was supposed to live there. It had been marked as destroyed, erased by Zarlan weapons long ago. But now, there was something. The signal was not a distress call, not a reply. It was just one tone. A pulse, calm, controlled, like a heartbeat. High above the Zarlan capital, the council met in secret chambers. The Emperor sat on his throne of crystal. Around him, alien generals and scholars whispered in low voices. "This is no accident," said General Zarek. "Something is calling us. Something hiding in the dark." A thin alien scholar stepped forward. "We have checked every signal type. This is not Zarlan-made. It is unknown." The Emperor's red eyes glowed. Unknown or forgotten? The room went silent. He tapped the edge of his throne. "Send a scout ship to the source. Quietly. I want to know who dares disturb thee." Silence. 2 days later, the scout ship Kavros entered the dead zone. It drifted through the black, silent region of space, sensors scanning every direction. Captain Huron, an older war veteran, watched his crew closely. Even the air inside the ship felt cold. "There's nothing here," said one officer. "Just rock and dust." "No," said Huron. "Something's wrong. The signal, it's changing." Then the ship's lights blinked. "Power drop," someone shouted. "Shields are weakening." Another cried out. Before they could react, the stars vanished. Not because of night, but because something massive was blocking them. The crew looked out the front window. A ship was there. It didn't move. It made no sound. It was huge, 10 times the size of the Kavros. Black metal, strange angles, a design none of them had seen before. On its side, strange glowing letters appeared. No one could read them. "It's not attacking," Huron whispered. "What is it doing?" Then, without warning, the human ship lit up. And the Kavros went dark. Back at the capital, the council waited for a reply. Nothing came. No message. No distress signal. The Kavros had vanished like dust in the wind. Now panic began. The Emperor stood. "Send another ship." General Zarek shook his head. "We should send a fleet. If something is there, we must destroy it." The Emperor paused. "No, send one more, a fast one, in and out. Do not wake the storm until we know what we face." The second ship, Vornik, was sent. This time, the crew was told to stay at a distance and record everything. As they reached the edge of the dead zone, sensors picked up movement, a shadow, then another. The same ship, but it was not alone. 6 other black ships hovered in the darkness. None of them looked the same, yet all had the same energy signature. Then the voice came. One word, one sound, heard clearly on every channel. "Observe." It was not a threat, not a request, a warning. Captain Dreva of the Vornak stared at the signal. This can't be. Who are they? She looked at her second in command. Do we respond? He shook his head. I think we already did. Before they could decide anything, the black ships vanished. Gone. Not destroyed. Not hidden. Just disappeared. The Vornak returned home, shaken. Silent. Back at the council chamber, fear spread. The scholars were the first to break the silence. We've searched old records, one said. We found something strange. He placed a glowing map on the table. 500 years ago, a small world was targeted for destruction. A primitive species. The records say the operation failed. The reason was never written. He zoomed in. The star system had been marked Dead Zone. But now the system had a name. Sol. The home of a blue planet called Earth. The Emperor stood. Humans. Number. One spoke. We tried to destroy them, and they lived? General Zarek growled. Impossible. Their technology was stone and metal. Another scholar spoke. Not anymore. He showed images from the scout ship's recording. The human ship's surface had energy shielding, warp drives, and dark matter weapons technology far beyond. Zarlan science. Where did they get this? The Emperor whispered. The next day, something appeared above the Zarlan moon. It was the ship. The same one that destroyed the Kavros. Alone. Floating like a god. No ships had seen it arrive. No sensors had detected it. The Emperor watched it from the command tower. Why are they not attacking? They are sending a signal, one officer replied. It's not in any known language. But it repeats. What does it say? The Emperor asked. The officer listened carefully. Then translated. We waited. We watched. Now we act. Across the galaxy, alien species began to panic. Some worshiped the human ship as a god. Others ran to hide, and some began to ask questions. What if they were never gone? What if they were just watching us? What if they learned from us and built something far more dangerous? On the dark edge of the galaxy, more ships began to appear. Not just one, but many. Different shapes, different sizes, but all clearly human in design. They didn't fire. They didn't speak. They just watched. Young Zarlan student named Siren watched the news on a public screen. He turned to his mentor, an old historian. Why? Didn't we know about humans? He asked. The old man shook his head. Because someone made us forget. Serene's eyes widened. Who would do that? The old man whispered. The ones who feared what humans would become. That night, across every Zarlan world, a new message appeared. From the sky. From the stars, from old satellites and hidden systems, the human ships sent a final warning. This is not your galaxy, not anymore. The Emperor stood on his balcony, looking at the human ship above his world. He clenched his fists. They think they can scare us. He growled. General Zarek nodded. Shall we attack? The Emperor waited. No, he said finally. Not yet. Let's see what they do next. But deep inside, he already knew. The silence was broken, and the galaxy would never be the same. The human ship floated above the Zarlan moon. Black, silent, perfectly still. It had no name, no crew seen, no visible engines. It didn't move, it didn't fire. It just watched. Across the Zarlan Empire, panic began to grow. In the central command tower, General Zarek walked into the war room. His boots echoed on the metal floor as holograms flickered around him. Maps, reports, and blurry images of the alien vessel. The ship is still above the moon? He asked. Yes, General, replied his assistant. No movement. But it's doing something. Zarek frowned. What? The assistant zoomed into the image. It's scanning us. All of us. Every world. Every satellite. Every ship. How is that possible? Zarek's voice became sharp. Our systems are secure. The assistant hesitated. Not anymore, sir. Far below, in the capital city, people stared at the skies. Children pointed. Parents stayed indoors. Soldiers patrolled with nervous eyes inside the grand archives. Scholar Velen read through dusty scrolls and faded data pads. "This shouldn't be real," he muttered. "What shouldn't?" asked a voice. Velen turned. It was Counselor Dren, one of the highest-ranking members of the Zarlan government. Velen handed him a cracked screen. "This is a ship design from 500 years ago, human primitive. Nothing special," he then pointed at a current image. "And this ship is something else. This is beyond what we know." Counselor Dren studied the comparison. "No empire can advance this fast," Velen shook his head. "Not unless they were hiding, watching, and learning." Back at the military council, the emperor sat in silence. Generals argued around him. Some wanted to attack. Some begged for peace. Others feared something worse, extinction. "Enough," the emperor said. His voice was cold, calm, final. Everyone went quiet. He stood and pointed at the hologram of the human ship. "This thing has not fired a single shot. It watches. That is more dangerous than war." He turned to his tech officers. "Have we found out how it got here?" One officer replied, "It didn't use warp gates. It didn't travel through space. It just appeared." "Appeared?" The officer nodded. "We checked every sensor. The ship didn't come from anywhere. It simply existed one moment." "And didn't the moment before?" The emperor's hands curled into fists. "Then this is a message, a challenge." 2 hours later, something changed. The human ship moved. Only slightly, but enough to trigger every alarm across Zarlan systems. It rotated smoothly, silently, and pointed toward the planet itself. A giant circular pattern lit up underneath it. Strange blue lights moved like veins across its surface. And then, a beam of light shot down from the center. No explosion. No sound. Just a light. The beam touched the ground just outside the Zarlan capital. When it faded, a small object remained. Cube, metallic, no markings. The council sent drones to scan it. No danger detected. It was hollow. Inside, a single data crystal rested. Not Arlan-made. It was human. They brought the crystal to the emperor himself. "Have we decoded it?" he asked. "We're trying," said the head technician. "It's written in hundreds of languages, many we've never seen." Velen, the scholar, stepped forward. "Wait, I recognize some of them. They are from Earth, human languages, ancient ones. Can you read them?" "Some, enough to understand." "The message." The room fell silent. Velen began to read. "You ruled by fear. We lived by memory. You erased. We rebuilt. You hunted. We hid. But we never stopped watching. Now we ask you one question. What do you fear when the prey becomes stronger than the hunter?" The room remained silent. The emperor stared at the scholar. "That's all?" Velen nodded slowly. "Yes, it's a warning." "No, it's more than that," said General Zarek. "It's a test." Across the empire, strange events began to occur. On 3 Zarlan colonies, power systems failed. For 7 minutes, nothing worked. When power returned, every screen displayed the same image. A planet, blue, cloud-covered, alive. Earth. Below the image, one word in ancient Zarlan text appeared: "Remember." People began to ask questions. Soldiers whispered in fear. Civilians demanded answers. Why did the Zarlans erase Earth from records? Why was humanity never spoken of? Rebels who once fought against the Empire now claimed humans as their allies. Some believed the humans were gods. Others thought they were demons. And the human ship still waited. Inside a private chamber, the Emperor sat alone. He stared at old maps, places once conquered, species long forgotten. His eyes stopped at the dead zone. "We thought they were gone," he whispered. He remembered the invasion of Earth 500 years ago. Back then, The humans were weak. Their weapons were simple. Their cities fragile. The Zarlans had sent a small force to conquer the planet. But the mission had failed. Why? No one knew. The records had been sealed. The soldiers who survived never spoke. Some said they saw things no one could explain. After that, Earth was marked erased. Now Earth had returned, back at the command center. Scientists tried everything to scan the human ship. They couldn't penetrate its shield. Its surface seemed to change, like it was alive, like it was watching them back. Then, the ship sent another signal. This time, it showed images. Thousands of images. Every war the Zarlans had started, every species they had wiped out, every planet they had destroyed. And then, Earth, bombed, burning, but surviving. The final image was of the same human ship, but older, damaged, being built piece by human hands. Humans had survived. They had evolved, and they had created the perfect weapon. General Zarek slammed his fist on the table. They're mocking us. Velen shook his head. No, they're showing us history. Ours and theirs. The Emperor stood. What are they waiting for? No one had an answer. That night, something strange happened again. A Zarlan warship, the Dominion's Claw, approached the human vessel without orders. The captain, angry and proud, opened fire. The energy blast hit the human ship directly. It did nothing. The blast was absorbed like a drop of water into stone. Then the human ship reacted. A pulse spread out. No explosion. No fire. Just light. The Zarlan warship powered down instantly. Every system failed. It began to drift. No one was hurt. But the message was clear. Do not test us. The next morning, the Emperor addressed the Zarlan people. Our enemies are not monsters, he said. They are something worse, something we once thought weak. Now they have returned, and they challenge our place in the galaxy. He looked into the camera. We will not surrender. But we will understand. He turned to his advisors. Prepare a message. Tell them we want to talk. The message was sent, but there was no reply. The human ship simply turned slowly and moved away. No engines. No sound. It drifted across the sky until it vanished from view. People across the Empire held their breath. Had the humans left? Or was this only the beginning? That night, every star system in the Zarlan Empire received one final transmission. Calm voice, not angry, not loud. Human, we are still watching. Power is not control. Silence is not weakness. We came from nowhere, and we can return the same way. The Zarlan leaders stared into the darkness of space. A truth was sinking in. Most dangerous enemy is the one you forget, and the most powerful ship is the one that shouldn't exist. The galaxy was quiet again, but it was not peace. After the mysterious human ship left, the Zarlan Empire had no answers. Only questions. No one knew if the ship was truly gone, or if it was hiding somewhere, waiting. The Emperor sat in the great hall, staring at the giant screen that showed the stars above the capital. Dozens of satellites scanned the sky. Dozens more watched every signal, but nothing came. No message. No movement. Just silence. Then one day, the silence broke again. It started with a flicker. High above the outer colony of Zera 3. A small red light appeared in orbit. Not bright, not fast, just there. The nearest space station reported it first. Unidentified. Object spotted, the officer said into the comm. No movement. No signal. It's just sitting above our orbit. Back in the capital, the council ordered drones to check it. When the drones arrived, the object didn't move. It was no larger than a fighter ship, shaped like a triangle. Smooth and black. The drones scanned it. Instantly, every drone shut down. Their systems went dark. Not destroyed, just silent. Then, the object sent a message. Not in Zarlan language. Not in any known alien tongue, but in Earth's oldest human language binary code. The message was translated quickly. Only one word: observe. Inside the Imperial War Room, the message played on repeat. Over and over. Just one word. Is it a warning? Asked General XAR Scholar Villain leaned forward. No, it's a command. General Riva frowned. What does that mean? Velen looked uneasy. It means they're telling us to watch. But why? The Emperor stood quietly and looked at the object's last image. It's an invitation, he said at last. A council vote was held. After hours of arguing, the decision was made: send a diplomatic envoy. A small, unarmed ship would go to the object and try to make contact. The team was chosen carefully: 2 diplomats, a translator, and 3 security officers. They called it a first contact mission, even though everyone already knew it wasn't the first. The envoy ship, Soul Runner, left the capital within hours. It reached the object in 1 day. As it approached, the object suddenly lit up. Then, it moved. No weapons. No warning. It just turned slowly, and a small door opened. In its side, the ship received a clear signal: enter. The crew looked at each other. Are we doing this? Asked the captain. We came to talk, said the lead diplomat. Let's do what we came for. Inside the object, they found a small chamber. No air, no gravity, but no danger either. Walls were made of black metal with glowing lines running through them, like veins. In the center of the chamber was a round table. Floating above it, a hologram. It flickered, then activated. At first, it showed stars, millions of them, then galaxies, then a small blue planet. Earth. Then came the images. Humans. Building, fighting, surviving. Wars, disasters, progress. And then came the aliens, Zarlan ships, attacks, burning cities. The diplomats stood frozen. The hologram zoomed in on a scene's Arlan soldiers bombing an Earth city. Humans running, some fighting back, others shielding children. Then a final image, a human hand reaching out through fire. The hologram stopped. Then the chamber spoke. A human voice. You destroyed, we rebuilt. The diplomats stared in silence. You erased, we remembered. The words echoed across the walls. You ruled by fear. We lived by strength. Then a final message. You wanted silence. But we never stopped listening. The hologram changed. Now it showed a strange shaped blueprints of the same ship that once hovered above the moon. The one that had vanished. The Warship. The screen displayed names, dates, human engineers, a timeline of its creation. This is a warship built by survivors, the voice continued, by a species you tried to erase, but you failed. The voice paused. Then, calmly, it said, we don't want war. The diplomats looked at each other in surprise. We want truth. We want justice. We want to see who you have become. After all these years. The room dimmed. Then the door behind them opened. Their ship's systems activated. The message was over. Back on the capital world, the Emperor listened to the report. They said they don't want war? He asked. Yes, Your Majesty, replied the diplomat. They want to observe. They want to know if we've changed. Have we? The Emperor asked coldly. No one answered. Meanwhile, in deep space, a second object appeared. This time above a mining world. It did not attack. It sent a message instead. This one showed images of other species aliens the Zarlans had wiped out over the years. One by one, forgotten faces, forgotten planets, and then a final image, a human child staring at a sky filled with alien ships. The message came with only 3 words. We remember everything. Inside the council chamber, anger rose. They accuse us. General Riva shouted. They say we're monsters. They show us history, said Velen quietly. Ours and theirs. They want us to feel guilt. No, the Emperor said. They want us to fear. Later that week, something new happened. A signal was received not from a ship, but from Earth itself. The voice was clear. "Come, human. We sent only ships to watch, but we are ready for more. You came once. You brought war. Now we come without war, but not without strength. The galaxy is changing. We want to see where you stand." It wasn't a threat, but it wasn't peace either. It was a challenge, a test. Across the Empire, citizens began questioning their leaders. Why did we erase Earth? Why did we destroy those who couldn't fight back? Why do humans know more about us than we know about them? Rebellion started to rise again. Some Zarlan citizens wore Earth symbols in protest. Some called for peace. Others begged for war, afraid of what humans might do next. The Empire was splitting. Back in the palace, the Emperor held a small metal cube in his hand. It had been found years ago, buried deep beneath a destroyed colony. No one knew what it was until now. When activated, it showed the same message the human ship sent. Observe, remember, choose. He clenched the cube. The humans were not just watching, they were waiting to see what the Zarlan Empire would do next. And in the dark corners of space, more human ships began to appear. Different designs, different shapes, but all with the same signal. Not a call to war, not a plea for peace, just one word, repeated across the stars: observe. The human ships were everywhere now, not many, not loud, but always watching. They floated above mining colonies, patrol routes, border worlds. Each ship stayed quiet, sending no more than a soft signal every few days. The signal always said the same thing: observe, no attacks, no demands. But tension grew. Inside the Zarlan Council chamber, the Emperor stood before a massive star map. The center was their empire, but now blinking red points showed human ships around it, all of them near old war zones, General Riva pointed out. Places we wiped out, others places we tried to forget, added Scholar Vilain. The Emperor turned slowly. Not we. Someone made sure those places were erased from public history. Who? Asked Counselor Dren. The room went silent. Velen cleared his throat. "I've found something. Something hidden in our old archives. A star system, coordinates long deleted." He pressed a button, and a small blue dot appeared on the map. "Sol," he whispered. "The system humans come from." The Emperor stared at it. For a long time no one spoke. Then he asked, "Why was it marked a dead zone?" Velen shook his head. "I don't know. The only record left is a note saying, 'Destroyed by Zarlan strike. Species eliminated.'" "But that's false," said Counselor Dren. "We've seen the humans. They weren't destroyed." "General." Zarek growled. "Then someone lied." The Emperor sent orders. "Search all records, secret files, ancient vaults. I want every report about Sol, about Earth, about the invasion 500 years ago." A small team of researchers, soldiers, and scholars was formed. They were given full access, even to the Black Archives, a place where forbidden knowledge was kept. What they found shocked everyone. Inside a dusty chamber, behind sealed metal doors, they uncovered an old war log. It was from Fleet Commander Zareth, who had led the Earth invasion centuries ago. The log was damaged, but parts of it still worked. The message played: "We attacked Earth with full force. They had no ships, no space defense. Their weapons were weak. But then, things changed." The next part was broken. Then more words came. They didn't run. They fought in ways we didn't expect. They used weather, terrain, and even turned their own cities into traps. We lost 4 destroyers. We thought they were savages. But they outsmarted us. The final part played: pulling out. Mission failed. Request to seal this report. Earth is dangerous. Because they learn. The team stared at each other in silence. "So, we didn't win?" whispered one of the guards. "No," said Villain. "We lied. Or someone made sure the truth was hidden." Back in the palace, the Emperor listened to the full report. "Why cover it up?" he asked. "Pride," said Velen. "Fear, maybe both. We couldn't accept that a weaker species beat us. So we erased them, buried the truth. And now they've returned," muttered Counselor Dren. Soon, more shocking information appeared. Inside one of the old databanks, a secret list was found to Zarlan. Agents sent to Earth after the failed invasion. Only one message came back from them. It was short. They survived. They rebuild faster than we expected. They understand machines, weapons, and war. We must leave. If they find us, we will not survive. After that, no more signals. The agents were never heard from again. A quiet fear spread through the Empire. If humans had survived and advanced in secret, if they watched for centuries, learning from everyone, what else had they built? What else were they hiding? The Emperor called another emergency meeting. "What should we do?" asked General Zarek. Velen answered carefully. "We must send someone to Earth." General Riva stepped forward. "Are you mad? We send a ship, they'll see it as a threat." "No," Velen said. "We won't send a fleet. We'll send a scholar, a truth seeker, a symbol of peace." The Emperor nodded. "Choose someone who won't lie. Someone who won't run." 1 week later, a small Zarlan ship left the Empire. It had no weapons. Only a white flag and a message: "We come in peace." The journey to Sol took 3 days. When the ship reached the edge of the system, something strange happened. Dozens of human ships appeared around it, but none attacked. Instead, they formed an escort. The Zarlan ship was guided gently toward Earth. As they passed the moon, the alien scholar looked through the window. The dark side of the moon held a massive shipyard, human-built, full of warships, factories, and strange energy sources. A voice spoke through the comms. "Do not fear what you see. Fear what we chose not to use." The ship landed on Earth. Green trees, blue oceans, cities alive with technology and nature. Humans welcomed the scholar with calm eyes. Soldiers watched from a distance, but did not aim their weapons. In a large glass hall, the scholar met a human leader. "Why now?" he asked. "Why show yourselves after all this time?" The human smiled gently. "We waited until you asked the right question." Back in the Empire, the Zarlan scholar returned with recordings and messages. The council gathered in silence. A screen lit up. The human leader spoke. "We do not want revenge, but we will not forget. We remember every destroyed city, every child buried under alien fire, every promise broken. But still, we offer peace. The galaxy is large. There is room for all. But know this: if you bring war again, you will not find silence. You will find fire." After the message ended, the Emperor remained quiet. Then he said softly, "They hid the truth to protect us from our own lies. But now the truth is back, and it is stronger than ever." For the first time in centuries, the Zarlan Empire felt something new. Not anger, not pride, but shame and respect. And far out in deep space, the stars around Sol burned a little brighter, because the galaxy now knew Earth was not weak. Earth was never gone. Earth was waiting, and Earth remembered everything. The Zarlan Empire was on edge. After the scholar's visit to Earth, everything had changed. Now the truth was out. Humans were not destroyed. They were never gone. They had watched, learned, and evolved in silence. The council tried to calm the public. They claimed peace was possible, that humans had offered it first. But the galaxy didn't believe in peace so easily. Many still feared the human ships. Some believed the silence before war had already begun. And then, something happened that shattered all hope. It started with a fleet. Zarlan Command had sent a peace escort to patrol the outer colonies. 5 warships, lightly armed. Just a show of strength, they said. But secretly, one ship carried a dangerous mission. Admiral Krezer, proud and bitter, believed the humans were bluffing. They pretend to want peace, he said to his crew. But they fear us. We ruled this galaxy long before they knew fire. We will not kneel to them. He ordered the fleet to enter Sector 9K, near the edge of the Sol system. This was a forbidden zone. Everyone had been warned. But Krezer wanted to see how far the humans would let them go. He never returned. Back at the Zarlan capital, alarms went off. One by one, the ships in Admiral Krezer's fleet disappeared from sensors. No distress signals. No wreckage. No survivors. Just gone. The last image received was from the flagship Honor Fang. It showed a single black human ship appearing in front of the fleet. No weapons fired. The Zarlan ships powered down instantly. Then the feed cut. General Zarek slammed his fist on the table. This is war. Velen, the scholar, shook his head. No, this is a warning. The humans didn't kill anyone. They just stopped us. Counselor Dren leaned forward. They're showing us their strength. Without blood, without war. That's more terrifying than any battle. Still, the Emperor remained calm. He ordered silence about the event. The public was told the fleet was lost to a navigation error, but the truth spread fast. Whispers filled every colony. People began to call the humans something new, the shadows, because they moved like ghosts. Seen one moment, gone the next. 2 days later, 3 human ships appeared above Zarlan colonies in different sectors. Each ship did the same thing. Disabled all weapons silently. Shut down all communication systems. Broadcasted a single message. Do not test the silence. This is your second warning. And then the ships vanished. In the capital, the Emperor called an emergency meeting. No deaths, no attacks. They strike from the shadows, but only to warn us. General Riva growled, but if we push again, they will destroy us. Valen nodded slowly. They've shown they can stop our fleets. Shut down systems. Cross space instantly. And still, they haven't used full force. Counselor Dren whispered, what if they're waiting for us to make the mistake? The Emperor paced the floor. He turned to his advisors. Then we will not make it. But not everyone agreed. In the military base on planet Garnuk, Commander Felrose refused to obey. They're playing games with us, he said to his crew. I won't sit here while they insult the Empire. He launched a scout probe toward Earth without permission. The moment the probe entered human territory, it disappeared. No explosion. No data. Just erased. The next morning, every Zarlan colony received a new message, a human voice. We offered peace. We gave 2 warnings. You sent another eye. We will now close your eyes. The next 10 minutes changed everything. All across the Zarlan Empire, military satellites blinked out. Targeting systems froze. Long-range weapons turned offline. Every world, every ship completely disarmed. Not destroyed. Not harmed. Just helpless. Panic spread like fire. How did they do it? Shouted General Riva. Velen stood pale. They didn't destroy our weapons. They hacked them. They understand our systems better than we do. General Zarek roared. Then what are we supposed to do? Surrender? No, the Emperor said quietly. We listen. That night, a single human ship appeared above the capital again. Its design was sleek, dark, familiar. It hovered in silence for 6 minutes. Then a beam of light dropped a small object onto the Imperial landing pad. A black orb, when activated. It played a recording. A human stood before a dark screen. He was calm. He did not smile. He did not raise his voice. We watched your empires rise. We watched them fall. You spread fire. We chose silence. Now you hear us, and you fear what you never understood. He stepped aside. Behind him, a screen showed an army of ships, hundreds, maybe thousands floating around Earth. We strike from the shadows not to conquer, but to protect what we built. We have only one rule: never again. The message ended. The orb shut down. No demand. No reply, just silence. Inside the Emperor's private chambers, he stood with his hands behind his back, staring at the stars. Velen entered slowly. "We're not the rulers of the galaxy anymore," the scholar said. "No," the Emperor replied. Turned, his eyes were tired. "We were never truly rulers. Just louder than the rest." Velen nodded. "And now the quiet ones have spoken." In the outer colonies, rebels rose. But this time, they didn't fight the Empire. They stood under the symbol of Earth, a circle with 3 stars. "Humans protect," some whispered. "They don't want to rule," others said. "But if we force them, they will end everything." The people began to speak freely for the first time in centuries. About peace, about change, about listening. Because in the shadows, something powerful had woken up, and it was not afraid of the old world. It was building a new one. The galaxy was changing fast. After the silent warning strike, the Zarlan Empire no longer ruled the stars without question. Fear had crept into every corner. The Emperor sat in his war chamber, surrounded by advisors. The mood was heavy. "General," Zarek broke the silence, "they are stronger than we imagined. Their control over technology. It's like magic." Velen nodded slowly. "It is not magic. It is knowledge we lost long ago." "What do you mean?" the Emperor asked sharply. Velan leaned forward. "The humans have a code. A way to control machines, weapons, even minds. That is beyond our science. It's a secret, hidden deep inside their technology." General Riva frowned. "How can we fight something we don't understand?" Velen sighed. "We cannot, not yet. But if we can learn their code, maybe we can survive." Meanwhile, far from the Zarlan worlds, a small human ship traveled quietly through the stars. Inside, a team of engineers and scientists worked on a strange device, an ancient artifact recovered from an old battlefield. It pulsed with blue light, humming softly. One scientist, Mara, looked up. "This device contains the human code," she said. "It's the key to everything." Her partner Yalan nodded. "It controls the ship's systems, our defenses, even the communication network. It's why we can disable weapons without firing a shot." Mara smiled sadly. "But it's more than that. It's a message, one that only the right mind can decode." Back at the Zarlan capital, the Emperor made a decision. "We will send a team to capture one of their ships," he said. "If we can take their code, we can turn the tide." General Zarek agreed immediately. "We have the best pilots and hackers ready." Velen looked uneasy. "If we fail, it will only make things worse." The mission began. A squadron of stealth ships slipped into the Sol system. Under cover of darkness. They found a lone human ship patrolling near Earth's moon. The attack was quick but careful. Electronic nets were fired to trap the ship, but as soon as the nets hit, the human ship's systems reacted. A wave of light swept through space. The Zarlan ships lost power. Their systems crashed, one by one. They floated useless. The humans boarded the disabled ships easily, but they did not kill anyone. Instead, they left a message on the screens of every Zarlan pilot. "You seek to steal what you do not understand. This code is not a weapon. It is a promise. A promise to protect life, to prevent the mistakes of the past." The Zarlan Emperor was furious. "How dare they lecture us?" He shouted. Velan, however, saw something else. "They are teaching us, warning us." Days later, the humans sent a new message. This time, it was a challenge. "If you want the human code, come to Earth, but come as friends. Or do not come at all." The Emperor faced a choice: attack Earth and risk total war, or accept the challenge and learn the truth. In the end, the Emperor surprised everyone. He chose to answer. A delegation was sent to Earth. Not soldiers, not diplomats, but scholars and seekers. Of knowledge, they arrived to a world both familiar and strange. Green forests, covered cities. Humans greeted them with open hands and cautious eyes. One human leader spoke softly. "We are not your enemies, but we will protect our home if you come. To learn, you are welcome. If you come to conquer, you will find only the end." The Zarlan scholars were shown the human code. It was not just technology. It was a way of thinking, a promise to respect life, a rule that controlled power without destroying it. Back on the Zarlan homeworld, news spread. Some celebrated, others feared. Galaxy was no longer a place of war and silence. It was becoming a place of hope and danger. The Emperor sat alone, staring at the stars. "The human code," he whispered, "is not just their power. It is their soul." Peace felt fragile. Though the Zarlan Empire had accepted the human code, old fears remained deep. The Emperor sat in his chambers, staring at the stars through a large window. Velen entered quietly. "You look troubled," Velen said. "I am," the Emperor replied. "The humans offered us knowledge." "But at what cost?" Velen nodded. "The past still haunts us." Outside the palace, the streets buzzed with rumors. Some said humans were spies, waiting to strike. Others believed humans had forgotten their past wars. But one thing was clear. The history between Zarlans and humans was darker than anyone admitted. Deep in the archives, Velen studied old records. He found stories of secret battles, hidden wars fought in the shadows. Long before the official invasion, one record caught his eye. A message from a Zarlan commander who disappeared on Earth centuries ago. "They fight with shadows, with minds, with fire no one sees. They survive because they do not fight as we do. Beware the human darkness." Velen shivered. Meanwhile, on Earth, the humans prepared quietly. Mara and Yalan worked on a new project. Weapon unlike any before, but it was not for destruction. It was for defense. Shield strong enough to protect Earth from any attack. Yet, it was built using a secret power, something from the human past. Back on Zarlan, rebels stirred. They did not trust peace. They whispered about the human darkness. Led by Commander Felros, they planned to strike first. "Let the humans think we are weak," Felros said. "Then we will show them our true strength." Velen tried to warn the Emperor. "The shadows of the past will rise again. We must face them before it is too late." The Emperor agreed. He sent Velen on a secret mission to Earth. Not as a scholar this time, but as a seeker of truth. Velen arrived on Earth. He walked through forests and cities. He met humans who welcomed him with hope. But he also felt something else, an ancient sadness. One night, Mara spoke to Velen. "There's a darkness inside us," she said. "A memory of war, pain, and loss. It is why we built the human code, to control that darkness." Velen nodded. "But can it be controlled forever?" Mara looked away. "We hope, but the past always waits." Suddenly, alarms blared. Earth's shield was under attack. A fleet of Zarlan warships appeared in orbit. Felros had betrayed peace. Velen ran to the command center. "We must stop this," he shouted. Mara and Yalan activated the shield. The Zarlan ships fired, but the shield held. A fierce battle began. Explosions lit the sky. Ships vanished into the shadows. Velen realized the war was not over. The past had returned. As the battle raged, Velen remembered the old message. Beware the human darkness. But now he understood. The darkness was not evil. It was survival. It was strength. It was the human way. The fight had just begun, and in the shadows, new secrets waited to be revealed. The Zarlan warships hovered above Earth, like silent predators. Commander Felros had disobeyed the Emperor. His fleet ignored peace. They wanted to crush humanity before it could rise further, but Earth was ready. In the sky, the great human shield pulsed with blue light, calm, unmoving, but strong. Inside Earth's main command center, Mara watched the approaching ships. "They're not here to talk. she said. JLEN nodded. Then the Learn Earth does not bow anymore. In orbit, Felrose gave the order. All weapons fire. Red beams and plasma bombs launched toward Earth. But before they could reach the surface, the human shield reacted. The energy pulses curved upward, capturing every blast, bending the attacks, and throwing them into space. Some missiles were turned around, fired back at the Zarlan fleet. One warship exploded in seconds. Felrose stared in disbelief. What is this? Back on the capital planet of Zarlan, alarms echoed in the council chamber. The Emperor stood in silence as images played on the screen. Felrose is attacking, said Velen's assistant. Without orders. Humanity has not responded with death, another said. Only defense. The Emperor closed his eyes. I gave him no permission. This war is not ours. He turned to General Zarek. Recall the fleet. Stop this madness. Zarek hesitated. If we interfere, the Emperor slammed his staff. This is not about pride. This is about survival. Do it. On Earth, the battle grew hotter. Human drones, silent, fast, deadly, appeared from hidden launch bays. They didn't fire weapons. Instead, they hacked Zarlan ships mid-flight, disabling their engines and pulling them from the sky like falling stars. Inside one ship, a young Zarlan pilot screamed, "Our controls are gone. The ship's flying itself." A hologram appeared in front of him, a human child. She looked at him and said softly, "We are not your enemy. But if you strike again, we will become one." On the surface, Velen ran through the human archive halls with Mara beside him. "This has to end," Velen said. "Too much blood has been spilled." Mara stopped him. She opened a chamber. Inside was the original code, glowing with white light. "This is the final light," she said. "A message for all, not just your people, for the galaxy." She pressed her hand to the crystal dot above. Every ship, human and Zarlan, froze. Weapons shut off. Engines stopped. Communications turned silent. And then, a voice echoed across every screen, every ship, every mind. "We are the last memory of Earth's first pain. We rose from ashes. We grew in silence. But now we choose peace." The screen showed Earth during the invasion 500 years ago, cities burning, people screaming. Then it showed now, cities reborn, forests green, oceans full. We remember everything. But we forgive if you choose to stop. Commander Felrose watched, stunned. His crew stared at the screen. He looked at the Earth one more time. His voice cracked. "Stand down." From the capital, the Emperor's message arrived. "Felrose, return now. You do not carry our will. We choose peace." Felrose slowly closed his eyes. "I was wrong." His fleet turned away. A quiet calm returned to the skies. The human shield dimmed, then lowered. On Earth, people stepped outside and looked upward. No fear, only hope. In the Zarlan Empire, for the first time in centuries, the people cheered for peace. Velen returned to the capital. The Emperor met him personally. "What did you see?" the Emperor asked. Velen smiled. "I saw power that doesn't destroy, and a people who remember, but want no revenge." In the final galactic message, Earth spoke once more. "We are not rulers. We are not gods. We are not the shadow anymore. We are the light. If you walk with us, we will build the future together. If you fight us again, you will disappear without a sound." Years passed. The Zarlan Empire transformed. The fear of humans turned into respect. Together, humans and Zarlans rebuilt lost worlds, healed broken planets, and created something new. A council of species, free, equal, united. At its center stood Earth. No longer silent. No longer erased. Now, the light that guided all. The galaxy would never be the same, because the warship that appeared from nowhere had changed everything. Forever.